G'day, it's Nigel here from Sax School Online. You know, the music game for us sax players has completely changed. If you want to build a career as a sax player in today's world, well, you need to understand social media and how to build your own following. Look, I know this is a huge question amongst our thousands of students over at Sax School, many who are trying to build their own audiences on Instagram or TikTok or YouTube. And if you're busy trying to build a career as a sax player, then there's a good chance you're also wondering about this. So I think I can help, because today in our episode, I'm having a conversation with a sax player who is doing exactly that. Asha Sax has now got hundreds of thousands of followers and millions of views across Instagram and TikTok, and she's really established herself as a brand and as an artist. But what was her process for building this huge audience, and how did she get started? Well, stick around, because in today's conversation, I think you're going to cover all that and so much more, and I think there's some great stuff in there that you'll absolutely love, including her 4-step process for building an audience on Instagram or TikTok. So stick with me as I chat with Joanna Wroblewska, aka Asia Sax. So Joanna, like look today, I think 100 and something thousand followers on TikTok now, 187,000 on Instagram. That's incredible. Has that, as your audience has grown on these social channels, has it made a big difference to the sort of work that you do as a saxophone player?
Oh, of course. Job opportunities are coming from other sides, from Instagram and TikTok. It's not something out of this world, but a lot of people are reaching out and asking me if I'm playing that kind of parties or this kind of parties, if I would like to play somewhere, etc. Most of them, even though I have a lot of followers from over the world, most of them are from Poland. So that's also comfortable to me, because I don't have to travel abroad.
Wow,
Because
that's really interesting. Mind you, I
yeah,
did notice that you talk in Polish on a lot of your videos, and in English on some of your videos too. So is that
yeah.
a conscious decision where you...
I started on my social media in Polish, and after I noticed that there's a lot of people from different countries. I started to fight my fear from talking in English. So I started to do that, and after some time, I was thinking about trying with TikTok as well, besides the Instagram, and I was thinking, well, on TikTok I'll go full Polish, and Instagram will be in English, and now I have no idea what to do, because there's a lot of people from abroad on my TikTok as well. So now I'm a bit confused, but I'm trying to find a balance in this. So
Yeah, it's funny. I mean, social media is there's always stuff to learn, isn't there? It's always growing and changing. Even those platforms. I mean, TikTok's relatively new. Instagram's more established, but TikTok has been changing a lot over the last couple of years as well, right? Different types of audiences are coming on, and the type of content that people are putting on is changing all the time too. So are you finding that? Are you finding you're having to experiment with lots of different things to find your way?
yes, I had to experiment a bit. I feel that TikTok doesn't like that professional videos. Like you're spending a lot of time to record something, now proudly sharing with people, and they are like, "Ah, what's
They want the
that?"
real thing, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
I do that on
yeah.
TikTok. This is more interested. It's interesting for people. But lately on Instagram, I've noticed that it's not that much engagement on my profile. Something changed, because I'm trying to post like I was posting before, mm, and the engagement is not that big like on
Yeah.
TikTok. So it's
Interesting. Wow.
it's
So kind of
changing.
gone to TikTok before it was on Instagram. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always moving. Yeah, that's really interesting. I mean, I find the same thing. We run a YouTube channel. We do some stuff on Instagram and TikTok, but most of our audience is older, and they're on YouTube more than they are on TikTok. So yeah, it's always a challenge to try and find where your people are. So what about right back at the start then, when you first began making videos? How did that how did you get started making videos?
Okay. I will start from the beginning. I was always a classical trained musician. So I was playing the classical music. I graduated music academy, and I didn't play much concerts. I didn't play. I had some concerts with my saxophone quartet back then, and nothing like solo musician, nothing like this because I felt like I'm nervous about that. I'm not feeling that. Mm, self-confident to be a
Okay.
solo musician, especially in classical music, because I was feeling like always that I'm not enough for this. And after I graduated, I started teaching, and I started my Instagram. It was for private stuff and nothing special, just sharing some pictures that I'm playing or teaching or what,
Mm,
but not playing on the internet. And after some time, I decided that I have to change something because classical music is great, but I'll try something new. And I was always longing for playing that kind of music, but I had on the back of my head that it's not for me because I can't improvising. I even tried sometimes to play something from pop music, but my sound was like uh, meh,
yeah,
didn't fit. It didn't fit to this music, and I was
sure.
like, no, it's not for me. I can't do that. It sounds like a goat or something. It doesn't.
Yeah. Do you think it's because you were approaching those sort of pop melodies with a classical style? Because
Yeah.
that was what you were used to doing?
Yeah, I had that in my head, how I would like the sound,
Yeah.
but I didn't have the technical
Yeah, the skills. You didn't
yeah,
have
the
the
skills.
ability to
Yeah,
do it yet. Yeah. Wow.
yeah.
So
I
did you
didn't.
just start experimenting and
Yeah,
trying to
I
create
started
that sound?
experimenting. I started experimenting. I bought a different mouthpiece because I was always playing on Selmer S80 one star, so it's
Okay.
really
Very classical. Yeah.
classic. Yeah.
And now you have a Sios, right?
Now I have Sios, yes,
Yeah.
Sios custom. But first, I bought somewhere on the internet without even trying. Just I wrote it down. Mayer, yes, Mayer
Yep.
7.
Oh,
I bought
wow.
it.
Okay.
I didn't even know where did I get this. It was just my idea. Mayer 7. What?
So this is on alto, Joanna.
Yes, on
Okay.
alto.
Yeah,
On
brilliant. And did that make a big difference for you with your sound?
When I started to play the classical way, it didn't make much difference. But then the magic, trying what to do,
Yeah. Okay.
figuring out. Yeah, first of all, I was trying with my lip totally out of this, and it was completely mess. Then I tried a bit deeper
Mm.
and deeper, and was searching, just exploring
Yeah.
and listening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So first and this time I was really into the Rod Stewart album American Songbook, and there you had little tiny solos, sometimes on alto, sometimes on tenor, sometimes on clarinet, and I was really into that tunes, and I was trying to learn it by ear,
Mm.
and that was probably the first video I posted on my Instagram. Me
Wow.
trying to recreate the solo from one of the songs. Probably it had to be you. That was the song. I know it was a black and white video there at school in
Okay.
during
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
break, trying to record something using just my phone without any backing tracks. It was just like that. And that was the
Yeah.
first video, and I felt like, not bad. Maybe I'll share it with.
It's funny when it's yeah, it's funny when you look back at the very first videos. Does it feel uncomfortable? I mean, I know what I feel like when I look at my first videos. It's like, oh, what was I thinking? Yeah,
Indeed, kind of, yeah. But
yeah,
at this moment, I was so proud of myself. That
yeah.
was something different that I was doing. So it was,
That's
I had
brilliant.
to.
That's brilliant. And so you from there you found your voice and started sharing more videos like that.
Yes, I started to experiment more. Like after some time, I wasn't satisfied with the video itself, and I was thinking that maybe I'll start to record the music separately and video separately. But I didn't have anything and I didn't have any idea. I had just my phone and my computer.
Okay.
So I was thinking what to do with that. So the another video I recorded, the first video I've recorded like this, that like I've recorded separately music and added the video. It was Shallow by Lady Gaga, and I
Uh-huh.
used only my phone to record the music. So I just put my headphones from my with the backing track from the computer and the microphone from just
From your phone.
from my phone.
Wow. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
and it appeared that I had a video from a videographer from an event when I was playing something different. But I
Okay.
thought that it looks great, so I just combine it. But I didn't tell you that to mix the music, I was just using Audacity because I was searching for the free software to do
Yeah, yeah.
something. And by the way, I'm using it till now.
Really?
Audacity. Yes, I'm working in Audacity and GarageBand, so if my software is free. I'm not a geek. I don't know all the stuff, all the softwares, the interfaces. No, I have a really cheap interface, Behringer U7, probably.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, no, Euphoria U22, something like that.
Brilliant. Well, you'll let me know. We'll put it in the notes because that's definitely something that everybody's interested in. And fantastic to hear that you are using a simple setup. So we've got thousands of students at Sax School, and so many of them sharing videos, making videos, sharing them on YouTube or Insta or just within our community. And so we always have lots of conversations about the sort of setup. And I'm lucky I've got a pretty fancy setup here now, but you don't need a fancy setup. You can start with something very simple, particularly these days when phones are so good, right? Phones and cheap microphones are also very good. So just to recap, you're using GarageBand. You're using a simple audio interface. I noticed in a lot of your videos, you're using a clip-on microphone.
Yes, because when I started to play events, I needed a microphone. So I went through some microphones and they are not living happily with me. I don't know what's going on, but they are seriously. I started with Sennheiser. A
Yep,
friend a friend advised me Sennheiser. It wasn't also much expensive. It was like the
medium
medium.
price. Yeah,
Yeah. And after that, after it dead, it was dead. I bought Shure
yeah.
Beta. How to say? I don't know how to say it. We are saying Shure Beta 98.
Better 98. Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. Brilliant. Is
Yeah.
that what you use now?
I was using it for some time, but I had a bad luck with that one. I have no idea what happened, but during the wedding that I played, it just starts to take a lot of noises. When I
Okay.
was moving with it, it was like boom, 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 the noise.
Yeah,
And I
yeah.
thought, what's going on? And I finished the wedding, and the other day I just went to the store and I said, guys, help me, give me a microphone which is working.
Which doesn't break, please.
So they gave me a AKG,
Okay.
AKG, and that was the microphone, and the bass was something else. It was Prodype because they didn't have
Okay. Yeah. So
the
that's
full.
your new one. Don't break this one, Joanna. Don't break it.
I have some issues with that one, so but but now
Brilliant.
X5 sent me
Oh, I saw your review. Was that today when it came out? The X5, X5
yes,
U7 or something? Yeah, we also did a
that
review
you
on
are
that.
using that, right?
Well, yeah, we have one of my teachers has one, and we've done a review on that too. So yeah, I think it's a nice piece of kit. There's quite a few options now like that, which is great because they're not crazy expensive, but they sound really, really good. So that's fantastic. And so, do you still do that same process where you record separately and film separately and then put them together?
Well, it depends. If I have a lot of time, I can work on that better. But if most of my videos are like I'm setting up the telephone and recording the video. And
Yep.
at the same time, I'm recording the audio on my computer. So I'm recording some takes, and I'm just choosing the best one, and
Mm.
that's all.
But
Just
you do them at the same time now. It looked to
the
me like
same.
you're doing it at the same time. You recorded the audio and the video. Yeah.
Most of the times, because I have also a son here, which is 6 years old, so I don't
Ah.
have much time for
Yeah.
just, nerding in my.
Yeah, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. I'm with you. In between, trying to grab those few moments to make some recordings. Fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm curious. I mean, I've got lots to ask you actually about the process of when you started making videos, how it grew. But first, I'd just like to know when you were making that transition from classical into playing pop, because actually I studied classical saxophone as well, back before you were born, probably. But that was when I was studying that while I was also doing jazz gigs. And for me, classical was kind of the path that was available for study back then in Australia, where I grew up. Um, but it's really important to have a model player that you look up to get an idea of sound. So when you were finding your pop sound, you mentioned that Rod Stewart album. Are there certain artists, certain saxophone players that you were listening to that you thought, yeah, that's a great model for how I'd like to sound?
Yes, I had my favorite albums back then, and it was smooth jazz because
Yeah,
I wasn't into classical jazz. Like
yeah.
I always appreciate the big jazz musicians like Coltrane, Parker, etc. But it wasn't my type of music that I was enjoying to the max. I'm more simple.
No,
So
that's fine. I love smooth jazz, a lot of the smooth jazz artists too. So, which are there any in particular you'd like to tell us about?
and the first album that I really loved was Dave Co's The Dance. And
Classic.
I wanted to sound like him. And another one was Marian Tell, it was Voices of the Heart.
Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I must have listened to that a million times as well.
Yeah,
Fantastic. Wow.
yeah, it
Okay.
was. And I really love to listen to some pieces of David Sanborn, not full albums, but just my favorite songs, like The Dream, of course, it was my
Yeah.
one
Okay.
of my favorites. So
Okay. Oh,
yeah,
brilliant. And
that was
do you still look to those artists as a model for your sound, or these days you're listening to a wider variety of things?
I'm listening to a very different saxophonists, not just those classical and the famous ones, but I love to explore internet and searching
Mm.
for musicians to just take the motivation and the inspiration. So it's not just them, but a lot of not even that famous artists, and
Mm.
they're inspiring me. Sometimes I'm just stealing some licks from them, or or just getting something.
I'm just going to jump in quick to let you know that if you do want to find out how we're helping thousands of people over at Sax School Online, whether you're a beginner or whether you're coming back to sax, or even if you're looking for advanced skills, well, you can actually grab a 14-day free trial to Sax School. The links for that are down below, or you can go over to saxschoolonline.com and get started. It's a great way to try the lessons and see how they fit for you. Okay, let's get back to the episode. There's nothing wrong with that. These days, there's so much great stuff available on the internet to explore, and there, yeah, so many amazing players out there. It's a lot of fun, isn't it? We one of the things we're going to have a chat about in a second is your four-step process for how other people can build their following on Instagram, and I really want to get into that. But just before we get to that, um, can you tell us a little bit about the process with when you started making videos? You mentioned that first video and your second video, and when you started to get into a rhythm of making videos, what what sort of things were did you discover that you needed to know in order to start growing your channel?
It's a good question because I've never had a plan. Like
Okay.
I've never following steps that I set up. It was kind of a luck because I was really persistent with posting videos, pictures, just something because I wanted to be seen somewhere.
Hmm.
because if you are posting once a week, people see you once a week. If you are posting twice a week, it's twice more people can see you,
Yeah,
And I was just posting and not even counting on something big. I had like 5,000 followers maybe, and then I posted the cover of Crazy, the song
yeah.
Nars Berkeley,
Mel's
Crazy,
Piper, yeah, yeah.
and it was like boom, something happened. And then from one week to another, I just started to have more and more and more followers, and now it was 100, and I was like, what happened here? I've never I didn't expect that, and then I felt like people are here for me because they like what I'm doing. And then I've tried to keep the keep the videos on the same level, like
Yeah.
and more covers, looking similar, like to have something that people are recognizing me from this. And it was good for me because this video crazy was like just I'm sitting in my sweatshirt on my couch and playing. So I didn't have to do much. I didn't have to do crazy things. It just happened like that. So
Yeah, but
I
maybe that's the lesson. But maybe that's the lesson, Joanna, because you say you didn't have a plan, but you're obviously watching what was happening. I think that's an important lesson because the thing is, when you see what things people respond to, not just the type of music, but the style of the video. You mentioned before about TikTok liking relaxed videos as opposed to really polished videos. So it's
Mhm.
all these things, watching what actually works and then doing more of that. Sounds to me like
Yeah.
that was your plan, even though you may not have thought you had one.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe you're
Yeah.
right. It was like analyzing what's going on and then applying it to my vision because in a certain time I started to have a vision of myself there. So yeah.
Do you
I
feel like do you feel like through this process you are starting to create an identity for who Asher Sachs is as your sort of brand?
Yes, I think so because I had that kind of thoughts that I'm not enough with pop music. I'm not because I don't have the jazz background. I don't have the professional jazz school or I know nothing about the harmony, etc. I'm just using simple scales and playing more by ear and by heart than with the scales. Of course, I'm playing some scales. Of course, I know all the tonations, etc. It's not that I don't know anything because I'm
Hmm.
also a teacher, so I know stuff, but I don't know the professional jazz stuff, and I felt like I'm worse. And
I
you
think they I think you're underselling yourself because look, there's lots of different ways you can approach saxophone. There's the classical way of doing it, and there's the straight down the middle jazz way of doing it, and there's a pop way of doing it, which there's overlap, of course, with all three of those things, but not one is better than the other. And and there's plenty of people who are full-on classical players or full-on jazz players who can't do what you do, which is connect with a melody and make a melody appealing to a large audience of people. That's a magic ingredient that a lot of people can't do. And that's something, it's also difficult to quantify, right? It's not something that's easily put into a formula. You can say, but like with, not that great jazz can be done in that way, but a lot of people try to do it where they say, well, there's this system where this chord is this mode and this scale and this approach, blah, blah, blah. Similarly with classical music, there's a formula for that. It's difficult to put a formula on what you're doing, but so it's not easy. And so I don't think you should undersell what you're doing. I think it's amazing.
thank you so much. That's so nice to see, to hear.
Yeah,
Mm,
it's important for all of us to find our own place in the music world, right? Find our voice and dig into it. I think it's brilliant. So, if now here's the thing, Joanna. We've got loads and loads of students would love to be able to do what you do with regards, and there's a whole separate conversation about how to bring a pop melody to life, and perhaps that's something we can talk about down the track. But for today, I know they'd love to find out how to start building their audience like you've done on TikTok and Instagram. So, do you have like you've got a four-step system, right? That you like a framework
Yeah,
that you
I
think
was
about.
thinking about that. Yeah, how to.
Yeah, okay. So if we were going to break it down into a four-step, Asha Sachs or Joanna's four-step process for building an audience on TikTok and Instagram, where would that start? What would step one be?
Yeah, the step one is just simply start to do something. If you have something in mind, if you want to grow on social media, on Instagram, TikTok, wherever, you have to start doing this, not waiting for the best moment, not waiting for having the best gear in the world to, because like I said, you have your phone. You can do everything with your phone. So just start it. Don't think about anything. Just do what you love and start right now. If you have this thought right now, start right now. Don't wait for the best moment.
Oh, I love that because just about everybody, me included, seem to find loads of excuses to not make that first video, right? Yeah.
Yes, that's true. And analyzing. No, analyzing is the worst. Just record something, listen once, and throw it.
Commit to it and go for it. Okay, that's brilliant advice. So step number one, grab your phone, which is already a brilliant recording device, and start making videos. Okay,
Yes, that's true.
so if we've done that, if we've done the first step, listened to Joanna's advice and made our first video, what's the second step then?
The second, made it fun, make it fun because you have to feel comfortable with that. It you can't treat it like a chore, like your duty, like something that you have to do because everyone is doing that. Find your own way to to make it fun for you, not
Hmm.
for something
Do you
that's
think do you think some people miss that? Do you think the audience can spot if you are not enjoying the process of making a video?
Yes, I think so. If I wouldn't like it, I think everyone will see it. They
Ah,
will see
okay.
it in my eyes, in my face. I think it's noticeable when you don't like what you're doing,
Yeah.
and and it won't be so genuine, I think.
Yeah, I do agree with you. And I think the other way to think about that is that people really notice when you're loving doing what you do, you know?
Yes,
So yeah, they'll spot if you're not really loving it, but they'll definitely spot it if you do love it. So I think it's important to enjoy, particularly the act of sharing a video because it's quite a personal thing, isn't it? So you've got to really love it. That enthusiasm and energy definitely comes through in a camera, doesn't it?
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
All right, fantastic. So we've committed to making a video. We know that we love making these videos and we're making it fun for ourselves. By the way, just on that, before we go on to number three, do you think making it fun is not just about deciding on the sort of content that you'd like to make, but also making the process of making the video fun? Does it extend to that as well?
yes, yes, I think so. For me, for example, when I'm recording my, because sometimes when I have more time, I'm recording my music also outside. And I'm taking my gear, my, of course, my phone, the other phone with the music and the stand. And I meet a lot of people.
And is that fun?
Is interested. What's going on here? So yeah, at first I felt a bit ashamed, but now I'm just talking with these people and sharing my story as well if they are interested. So yeah, I feel that it's also fun.
Brilliant. Okay, I love that. I love that. Okay, so we've made a start. We're making it fun. What's step number three?
You have to be systematical. Systematical? I have to
Hmm.
say it. You have to
Systematic.
post systematic, yeah. Systematic. You have to post things, even short stuff, but you have to you should be visible. Because when you are posting really rare, you can get really frustrated because it's not showing because that's the social media. You have to post a lot to be seen.
Okay.
So yeah, if you are I think being systematic, it's a key to grow
Mm.
on social media. I know they are saying that Reels are the most popular content to grow, but I don't. I think that if you don't like to post Reels, you can start with pictures. You can start with carousels with the text if you have
Mhm.
something to say to people. Um, I think it's better to start with something and then see what makes you the most comfortable.
Okay,
But
right.
being
So,
systematic.
do you have a recommendation on, I guess, because we're talking about being systematic and consistent as well, right? So,
Yeah.
frequency of the video. So, you mentioned earlier that once a week, but twice a week you see twice as many people. So, do you recommend twice a week, or do you recommend once a week? Is there a frequency that you find works well for you?
Well, it's really hard for me to be that strict, like once a week or twice a week, because really it depends. But I'm trying to post as much as I can. So I can't say it will be once a week because in my way of living, like having school and a lot of concerts and a kid, it's not that easy. But back then I was posting more. When I had the more growth on my Instagram, I was posting more, so it's connected, I guess. So right
Yeah,
now, I feel like I should post more, but I don't have
yeah,
much time. So
yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
I
Interesting,
would
interesting.
advise. I think once a week, it's a good start.
Okay, love it. So, what's the final step then? We've talked about just starting. We've talked about finding the fun in it. We've talked about consistency. What's the final piece of the puzzle then?
Step four is for certain the connection with your audience, the showing them that you are a real person, not just a professional musician with no life, basically, but that you are real. Just even answering their comments or leaving feedback somewhere else for other people, I think it makes you visible and it shows your real face and people like it.
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So, I guess that takes time too, and I suppose a lot of people are a bit scared about that that thing of, actually reaching out and communicating with people, but they're real people, and you need to show that
Yeah.
you're a real person too, I suppose. So, does that extend beyond answering comments to maybe, do you do content where you answer questions, or I noticed you do some live streams as well.
Yeah, it's not that often because of I don't have my own studio and I know that on live stream people likes when you are playing something and I'm not
Mhm.
feeling quite comfortable sometimes because of my neighbors. I don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
So if I can, I'm making live streams, but not that often. But just even on your Insta stories, like answering people questions, making questionnaires, and just Q&A time that they can ask you something. It connects people a lot.
Yeah, I love that. Love that. That's a great four-step process. I think everyone can apply that. I know we'll
Yeah.
be having lots of conversations amongst our Saxophone community about that process too. Look, just before we wrap up, so it's really been wonderful talking with you. I'm curious to know what's the next steps for Asher Sax with your channels. Have you got some things in mind, some different types of content or some big projects?
I don't know. I'm thinking if I have some big projects right now, but maybe you you notice I started to sing as well. So I'm exploring that part of myself because I was always convinced that I can't sing. And now I felt like, oh, something is there. So
Sounds lovely. I did watch some of those videos. Sound
yeah,
fantastic.
and I started to apply also this idea during my live performances, especially in restaurants when I'm playing for a lot of time, then I think it's interested for people to have something else
Yeah.
time. So yeah, that's one of my plans to apply in my music. But if it's about the videos on Instagram or TikTok, I'm just going with the flow. And now the weather will be better, so I'm just planning to go out and meet new people on my way. Maybe
So
they will just keep my camera.
there you go. Some more videos out in the sunshine. That sounds like a brilliant
Yeah,
plan. Love it.
yes.
Super. Really nice to talk to you. We'll definitely share all of your links to everything in the show notes. And yeah, I'm excited to share your four-step process with the members as well, Joanna.
Thank you so
Wonderful.
much. I'm so happy to know it, and thank you for the invitation. It was a pleasure to talk to you.
Now, I don't know about you, but there were so many great takeaways from this episode. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to go and revisit this episode or any of the other episodes, you can find out more information over at saxschoolonline.com/podcast. Right, keep practicing hard. I'll catch you next time.